Hi, I'm Velshi with MSNBC. This week, Facebook's Oversight Board, an independent body that some have called Facebook's Supreme Court, issued guidance about the social media company's decision to indefinitely remove former President Donald Trump from the platform. Here with me to discuss for this week's A More Perfect Union is Jeffrey Rosen, the president and CEO of the National Constitution Center. Jeff, we know that Facebook, like any social media company, is not a government, but the decisions of the company and the Oversight Board conjure up issues that are, in fact, related to international law, to the First Amendment and free speech norms. Explain this decision to us and how these things are all connected.
Ali, some have called this decision the Marbury versus Madison of online free speech law, in the sense of it being a path-breaking landmark. It's so interesting that the Oversight Board did not apply First Amendment standards because, as you said, Facebook isn't a government and isn't bound by the First Amendment. Instead, it first examined Facebook's content policies and found that President Trump had violated the policy that prohibits praise of groups that glorify or engaged in violence. It didn't violate the policy that said that President Trump himself incited violence, although a minority of the board would have invoked that too. The other thing that's really interesting is the board didn't apply U.S. law, but international law. And international law requires that there be a balance between the seriousness of the harm and the proportionality of the response. And in this case, the board's big decision was that an indefinite ban was not justified. Facebook had wanted to kick President Trump off forever, but the board said that there was no clear policy about indefinite bans, and it kicked the decision back to Facebook and said, you've got to come back to us in 6 months and come up with some standards for deciding how long these bans have to be, especially when public figures are involved, and generally the length of the ban has to be proportionate to the seriousness of the threat. So although the decision was portrayed as a big win for Facebook, in fact, the board basically said, we're not going to do your job for you, Facebook. You've got to come up with some clearer standards and apply them in a consistent and transparent way. And in that sense, the decision really is a model for thoughtful, independent oversight of incredibly important free speech decisions by powerful platforms.
And the board gave Facebook 6 months to do it. We'll revisit this when that decision is made. Jeff, good to see you. Jeff Rosen is the president and the CEO of the National Constitution Center.